Supplier contracts are essentially the terms and conditions in place between you and anyone that's supplying either a service or a product or goods to your business. So there would be the terms and conditions which would manage that relationship between you and your supplier. So with a really challenging economic and a political climate that we're all facing at the moment, cost has always been a priority for a lot of businesses, but it's a massive priority now. And getting that under control, a key place that you start to look is your suppliers. And if you have a really good supplier contract in place, you'll have a really good commitment with your supplier. So both you and your supplier will be committed to the terms that you've agreed between you both. Those terms will be fair and acceptable for both of you. You'll have certainty around what it is that's going to be supplied, how much, when you can expect to receive it, and also fundamentally what the plan B is if something goes wrong. So that's what we would expect if you have a good supplier contract in place. So a mistake that we see time and time again is just people not reading their contracts. They'll just sign up because they're caught in the moment. The salesman's done a phenomenal job. They're eager to sign and crack on and receive that product or service. And then something will go wrong, or there'll be a price rise, or something will happen that triggers you to go back to that contract and read it. And that's usually where the blood drains from your face, because you then see that there's a horrible term in there that you really wouldn't have agreed to if you read that contract properly at the start. But at that point, it's too late, because as a business, the onus is on you to read your contracts properly and negotiate them if you're not happy. It's not the same as consumer law, where you do have lots of levels of protection in place if you buy something as a consumer. If you're buying something as a business, you really must take advice on your contracts if you're not happy with them, or negotiate them. So that's a real common issue that we see. We also see people that forget all about the contract. So they'll sign it, forget that they've even got a contract, they'll let it expire, or even worse, they'll let it automatically renew on unfavourable terms, and they're locked in again. So there's just a few small examples of common issues that we see. So an absolute worst case scenario would be the impact that that particular supplier contract has on your own service or your own supply to your customers. You might have to increase your prices to cover the increased costs that you're receiving from your supplier as a result of what's happened with that contract. And that in turn can make you less competitive. It might cause you to lose business. It might have an impact on your staff. Also, the other key impact that it's going to have is it may have automatically renewed, and you might be stuck with somebody that you can't really get away from for another period of time unless you pay out an exorbitant amount of money, which leaves you feeling really frustrated because you're in business with someone that you ultimately don't want to be in business with through their conduct and how the contract has been handled. So it can be a really infuriating experience for a lot of reasons there. So for new suppliers, a real easy way of avoiding issues is by having an upfront conversation with them about really what the expectations are from your perspective, and fundamentally what their expectations are, and making sure that that's well covered or well documented in the contract between you both, and taking advice on that contract as well if you don't feel comfortable or experienced enough to get the best possible deal that's fair for both parties. When it comes to your existing suppliers and how you can avoid mistakes with your existing suppliers and the contracts that you have with them, a really good starting point is just uncovering who all of your current suppliers are. And out of those current suppliers, who are the most important suppliers, as far as, if they were not to supply you for whatever reason, it would have, quite a severe impact on your business. Certainly highlight who those particular suppliers are, but overall it will be worth you doing an audit. So looking at where are the contracts, first of all, have you got a contract in place with all of those suppliers, in particular the key suppliers? And secondly, review the contracts if they are in place, but if they're not in place, or if they've expired, or if they're due to auto-renew, now is the time to start paying attention to those and to take advice where you need it. So I'd say those are some quick things that you can do to help you get back on track with the relationship with your suppliers contractually. If you'd still like some help, visit hybridlegal.co.uk, or alternatively, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. You can also give us a call as well. You'll find the number on our website, but we'd be very happy to have a chat with you if you need some help or advice.